What up? This your man, Rashad Richey, the realest man on radio. You are tuning in to the best of Rashad Richey Morning Show callers. What's happening? Welcome back, realest man on radio. Good to be with you. Okay, we still have Cliff from Connecticut. Cliff, we still got you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
So let's be thoughtful about Chicago, okay? Chicago was under the leadership of Rahm Emanuel. This is when it became even worse. His leadership provided significant fuel to the fire of criminal dysfunction. Not only did he cover up for corrupt Chicago police officers, he made decisions that collapsed particular districts, creating education deserts. These education deserts became the highest crime-ridden precincts in the entire city, directly a result of his decision to not be thoughtful about this particular collapse. He did nothing to address drugs, corruption, poverty, etc. When I went to Chicago a few years ago to negotiate a peace treaty, I remember a Chicago city councilman, and keep in mind, our peace treaty started at 12 midnight. Christian churches would not allow us to engage with rival gangs on their properties. The mosque did. Muslim mosque stood up and allowed me to do this. And during this time, we had vans pass us. We had a Latino group pull up on us. We also had one quasi-conflict at the corner outside of the facility. It was a tense situation. And one council member told me clearly, he said, the mayor's real job is to keep North Chicago and South Chicago separated. He said that's the mayor's real job. That's what he really does. So you have that dynamic. And then there was this romanticism of gang culture in Chicago, but it was contextualized through the mob. The mob was heavy in Chicago back in the day. And it was significantly noticeable how powerful they were, occupying positions of prestige and status, having friends with the hierarchy of the city. They romanticized gang culture as long as the gangs were Italian. So who tried to mimic this? People like Larry Hoover tried to mimic it, and others who became the de facto face of gang culture in America when they were simply trying to mimic what Chicago said they respected. So you have that permeation as well. And then finally, let me add that many of the numbers are taken out of context. Chicago is the size of a really, really large city. But Chicago crime rate, when you look at per capita, their crime rate is lower than, let's say, L.A. Look at it per capita. Per capita is based on every 100,000 people in your population. So while we talk about Chicago in the context of high crime rate, and they do have a high crime rate, they do not have the highest crime rate. And I'm always fascinated how other major cities will avoid the conversation or avoid the narrative that gets affixed to Chicago when Chicago does not have the highest crime rate in America, but these other more popular cities do, but they never get this type of narrative about troops coming in, the National Guard being called, etc. Do you get my point, dear brother?
Right. So, brother, I can just end with this. I know you got other callers. So what I'm saying, not only Chicago, but in Philadelphia, St. Louis, there's all in our urban areas, we have the same situation.
But it's not the same.
Democratic leadership.
It's not the same situation. And you keep going back to democratic leadership. First of all, I question if they truly are democratic in their leadership, because it means they would at least employ progressive tactics, progressive policies to stop or decrease the criminality in the first place. You cannot arrest yourself out of socioeconomic dysfunction. If the issue is socioeconomic, you must address the socioeconomic dynamic. You cannot arrest yourself out of that situation. Chicago has proven that. LA has proven that. New York has proven that. You cannot arrest yourself out of this. You have to be thoughtful. Do you not agree?
Right. And this is the reason why white people and some blacks are saying you should try the Republican Party, because the Democrats have failed you.
Wait a minute.
Republican Party,
do you buy that? I'm asking, do you buy that?
I'm just saying, and my point, when I'm saying
Right.
personally, Brother Richie,
Uh-huh.
white Republicans and white Democrats are both the same.
Okay, but I'm saying, do you buy the narrative you just said many
No.
are saying? Because I want to remind everybody that 8 out of the 9 poorest states in the United States of America are, in fact, run by Republican governors. And those 8 out of 9 poorest states also have the highest violent crime rates in the United States of America. So when we submit these narratives, understand you're indicting the other side in the process of that. Because if you're saying that this is due to Democratic leadership, you cannot then dissuade from the resubmission that 8 out of the 9 poorest, economically disadvantaged states in the country are all ran by white male Republicans.
I agree.
All right. I appreciate your call, dear brother. What up? Welcome back. Realist Man on Radio. Waka Flocka Flame endorses Donald Trump. And I know Waka. We've done events together in Clayton County, turkey giveaways, stuff like that. I remember a tweet that Waka sent out in April of 2015. And it simply says, F Donald J. Trump. Nothing else. And it doesn't say F. It spells it out, the whole word. F Donald J. Trump. Now, he is endorsing Donald J. Trump. Let me tell you why this is likely happening. This is likely happening because, one, individuals typically who are of a celebrity status, they are not looking at the nuances of policy. They're looking at the nuances of policy articulated, meaning messaging. And when you cannot really make a real compare and contrast between this guy and the guy in the White House, the lines become blurred. I don't think Donald Trump would be as successful in some of these arenas if Biden would have delivered on some of the promised deliverables. Now, I know some of you may disagree, but I find it hard to believe that if Biden would have delivered the George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act, if Biden would have delivered free or significantly reduced college tuition for anybody who chooses to go to college, if he would have delivered on the things he campaigned on, I don't think this would be an issue. If he would have simply fought for them, if he would have fought to decriminalize marijuana throughout the whole nation, make it a federal dynamic rather than just local jurisdictions trying to do what they can do to make things fair. He didn't even take up the fight. As a matter of fact, when he became president, Joe Biden's White House sent out a questionnaire to staffers. And one of the questions, hey, do you smoke marijuana? Your answer will not affect your job status at the White House. And many of them who answered yes, all of a sudden magically were fired. All right, 404-726-1380. Let's go to Midtown Mario. Midtown, good day, welcome.
You know, Richie, when I first heard this story, my first thought was, this is just a man who's stupid. But I think I realize now it's more about being selfish. And it also reinforces for me that anybody can be susceptible to a cult. I mean, this is just unbelievable, but I'm really starting to see the smartest people among us can be caught up in a cult. And this is just the latest victim of that cult that has swept the nation and caught up some of the most brilliant lawyers, caused them to become disbarred and
indicted,
disgraced, indicted. Right. And so I don't think Waka Flocka is no different. He is part of the cult now. He's just fallen victim to the cult. But I also think there's a dynamic of selfishness here because a lot of these people who are of his financial status received a benefit from the tax shift that Trump enacted when he shifted the tax burden from them to regular folks like me. And so that's why you have folks like Wayne and others, Lil Weezy, who are backing this guy because they want to keep more of their money like we all do. I don't think that's a reason to want to send this man back to the White House when he's a threat to the very.
Yeah, I think that's a very selfish reason to support a man. And I'm in that boat now myself, where I'm in a particular tax bracket where Trump's policy would allow me to retain more of my revenue, but it would not allow
$20.
You can hold 20. Would not, but it would not allow everyone whom I love and who produce me to have more money in their pockets. So why would I ever support that position? I'm thankful and blessed to be in the position that I'm in. I would never want to adversely impact the communities that made me the man I am because I want to keep more change in my pocket. That's insane to me. Let's go to Jason in Buckhead. Jason, good day. Welcome.
You know, as a hard-working, tax-paying citizen of Fulton County, I would much rather our sheriff be concerned with keeping his jail from inmates not being eaten alive by bedbugs. As a tax-paying, hard-working citizen of Fulton County, I would much rather our DA put her focus on not releasing serial armed robbers and giving murderers bonds. I would much rather that energy be focused on that than a big nothing burger that's going nowhere, which, by the way, any politician, including Stacey Abrams, Stacey Abrams still ain't even admitted to losing the 2018 election. Went out, put together all kind of stuff.
Let me respond to that.
And any political opponent that is lost, including Al Gore in 2000,
okay,
fought and challenged the election. So
got it. So let me respond to that. Let's have a conversation. Number one, I want any sheriff to do what they are constitutionally sworn to do, which is to uphold. Hold on, dear brother. I allowed you. Hold on, dear brother. Now, let me tell you the rules of engagement here. I don't know how you talk to the people at your house, but when I'm talking, dear sir, you will not interrupt me. I did not interrupt you. Those are the rules of engagement. That's how I said it for you. Do I make myself clear? Thank you.
I mean, go ahead.
Now, the Constitution of the state of Georgia says that the sheriff has to carry out these particular duties. One duty is when a person is indicted on a felony, it is the sheriff's office who is required by Constitution and by statutory law to effect the arrest, the warrant, whatever it may be, pursuant to the indictment of citizens of Fulton County. Two, the district attorney does not actually bond people out of jail, nor do they set the bond. Those are Superior Court judges that set bonds for individuals who have been accused or indicted by citizens by way of a grand jury in the state of Georgia. The district attorney can do more than one thing, just like the sheriff can do more than one thing. When we start saying, well, let's contextualize it this way. I prefer the sheriff to do this and not do that. Well, here's the reality of it. Citizens indicted Donald Trump. Citizens of Fulton County indicted Giuliani. Are we supposed to ignore those indictments from citizens of Fulton County? That would be illegal. That would be unconstitutional. That would shock the conscience. That would be bias. To follow the indictment of the citizens by way of the grand jury is proper, is lawful, and is constitutional. But let me ask you this question, dear brother. Do you believe that the law was broken with these, 19 individuals who have been criminally charged? Do you believe they broke the federal law and state law as it relates to elections?
Well, I don't know the evidence. I'm not privy to all of it.
Why criticize?
Do I think they do? Well, and from a general standpoint, just a 30,000-foot view of it, I feel like any candidate that has lost, particularly someone that's sitting in the presidency, is going to do whatever means they can.
But no one has done this before. Well, that's not true.
Did not lose the election. They're going to exhaust every means to try
to
do it. I mean,
well, okay. So, Jason. Okay, Jason. No, that's not true. So let me go ahead and give you facts. Well, you're talking emotion. I'm going to give you facts. Stacey Abrams did not employ electoral college members who were unlawful and tell them to sign an affidavit swearing and affirming and attesting that, in fact, she is the actual winner. No one has done that.
She was not empowered, though.
Hold on, dear brother. Wait a minute.
If she had the means to, she would have.
Okay.
Come on, man.
If she had the means to, she would have broken the law.
If she was
Let's follow your logic, Jason.
Governor.
Right. Okay. So you're saying if she was already in power, she would have broken the law.
As far as she went as far as to create a whole organization about
it's not illegal.
All this stuff.
Not against the law.
No, that's not. But what I'm saying is, if she was willing to do that, I guarantee you, she would have exhausted any means she could have.
Your argument is insane.
She legitimately, she still has not conceded.
That's not illegal either. It's not illegal. It's not illegal to not concede, sir. It's not a statutory requirement to concede to an election.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's come back to, you're in La La Land. Let's come back to real life. Kill the music. Kill the music, Chris. So let me go ahead and make the point I was making, sir, and I hope you can accept it as is. It is against the law to require individuals to coordinate what's called illegal electoral college affidavits. You literally sign a document swearing and affirming and attesting that these statements are true. Those statements were not true. They were lies. And then they decided to mail those statements in so that they can be counted. Once again, action after the fact of illegal conduct, which says they meant to carry out the illegal action. You can't even argue that this was somehow done for puffery reasons. This was done for reasons to skirt democracy as we know it in Georgia. Now, that's illegal. You can admit signing an affidavit, swearing and affirming, attesting to the truth of a matter, and it is not the truth of the matter, is illegal, correct?
I don't know what they know or thought was true.
Well, it doesn't matter. You swore. You swore. What? But we do. No, sir. No. But guess who? No, sir. You're incorrect. You're a damn lie. Don't talk for me, dear brother. Don't talk for me, dear brother. I know exactly what I know. I know what I know.
Because you know it all. We know that. We know you know it
all.
Oh,
well, I know more than you. I know more than you do.
You think you do.
Way more than you. Wait. Watch this. Watch this. Way more than you. Have a good day. I knew that I was going to hang up on you. See how much I know way more than you know. You know, Jason is somewhere fuming right now. He just threw his phone down. See, that's only hurting yourself, Jason. Now you got to go get a new case, a new screen. You're working backwards. Silly rabbit tricks of kids. Want someone to play with, get a toy. We got more on the other side. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Tiger, good day. Welcome.
With the women, Rashad, we know my mama raised me. My daddy got killed when I was young. You know, my sister raised me. You know, but what I was saying was either I'm on God's side or I'm on the emotion. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at if you just look at the state that we're in right now, when God said He's gonna do a new thing in earth, He's gonna put the woman over the man. And then, like you said, if you look at the state that we're in, you know, He like the women, they just been ran into the ground. You know, so and
women have ran it into the ground. Explain.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's not their fault. Whatever, because we left them.
But when you say women have ran it into the ground, I'm asking you to explain.
Oh, like look at our community. You got a bunch of
you blame women. You blame women for the dysfunction.
Yeah. No. Listen, what I'm talking about because they ruled over us right now. Whatever. But what I'm saying, overall,
does a woman rule over you?
No. She did though. She did.
Well, who was that? Who was that woman?
That was my mom. She raised me.
Well, that's not ruling over you, sir. That's a maternal relationship. That's, she's your mother. The fact that you believe somebody has the power to rule over you, brother, is a slave mentality.
What? We are slaves, right, Rashad?
No, I'm not. Now speak for your damn self.
I'm a physical slave, not a mental. Yeah, I'm physical.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, brother. Whatever kind of slave you want to be, brother, be that.
You are a physical slave too.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm a slave. I'm a slave to no one, brother. I am a free man in Christ Jesus, brother. That's who I am. And to use the word slave to say somehow, well, this is slavery, I think it's a slap in the face to the real slaves, to the ancestors that actually experienced real slavery, and for you to somehow compare what you're going through.
You do what Democrats do. There you go again.
Brother, I'm really rooting for you to have a point on my show, brother. What's your point?
I was trying to explain to you how when the Bible says about women running into the ground, whatever. There's a new thing on earth.
Where is that?
That's in Isaiah 3. If you read Isaiah 3, just read the whole
No. Damn that, sir. You read it, brother. You bringing up the scripture. That's your source. Go read it on air. You got time, brother. Get your Bible. Go ahead and get your Bible and read it.
I'm driving right now, but...
Well, go ahead and pull over, brother. As much of a holy roller you are, you don't have a Bible in your car, sir?
Holy roller.
You're a holy roller, sir.
Right here.
All right. What did it say now?
Roller. I got it right here.
What did it say?
Hold on. I just pulled over.
Uh-huh.
And that's for my people, children are the oppressors, and women rule over them.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up, it's all right here.
Mm-hmm.
And my people, they was lead thee that caused thee to error. Yeah. Read that. Read Isaiah 3 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you got to read the whole thing to get the gist of it.
All right. Now, if I read the whole thing, what's the context?
The context is women need to get back in line with the nation and don't jump in front of man.
Okay.
That's he gonna throw the people in a bed.
That's actually not. No, sir. That's not the context. The context was a judgment against Judah, and the reason why Judah was being judged was because of the wickedness of men.
That's right.
And the wickedness of men brought disaster upon the land of Judah, because God said they will be repaid with what their hands have done. I appreciate your call, sir.
Right.
Thank you, brother. The wickedness of men is what that scripture is about. I'm not a theologian. I do research and I read scripture, but that whole context was about the wickedness of men running Judah into the ground, not because of the wickedness of women, brother. I appreciate your call, though. You're getting real with the realest man on radio, the Rashad Richey Morning Show. What's happening? Welcome back, the Rashad Richey Morning Show. Good morning to you. Let's go to Robert in Decatur. Robert, good day. Welcome.
You know, Rashad, when you first came on the radio, I said to you that I thought you were a phony. I think you're a weird kid, all right, and you're full of information and seem to know everything, but you're not authentic. You're phony.
Now, why is that, Robert?
Well, you know, you can cut the thrust of Mr. Trump's leadership and show all the various things.
But, Robert, I'm trying to find the place in your analysis of me where I am a phony, where I am fake.
Well, one of the biggest places where you said that was installing socialism when these people just came out with this bill. And this is just a bill to try to save a country that's sinking.
Yeah, but my statement is still factual. This package is a socialism package. This is literally taking taxpayer dollars and using it for the social benefit and social welfare of the citizen. That is the definition of socialism.
I'm not sure if that's the full definition of socialism.
Well, you need to look it up.
No, I don't need to look it up.
If you're going to come criticize me about socialism, you need to at least know what it means. And let me ask you this. Do you not believe that we are already in a quasi-socialistic nation?
There are certain features of the country that's free. But
yeah.
That's not even near socialism.
It is partially socialism. How old are you, Robert?
How young are you?
I'm 38.
So what does that mean?
Do you collect Social Security?
Yeah, I don't have to have Social Security, though.
But do you collect Social Security?
Look, Rashad, you pick out these things and you pick them apart.
What do you mean I pick them out? This is a conversation. Robert, you called my show calling me a fake, calling me a phony. That's what you did. You woke up this morning and said, I'm going to call Rashad Richey show and I'm going to call him a phony. You have failed to prove I'm a phony. You have failed to answer simple questions about your own premise. You don't know the working definition of socialism. You actually benefit from socialism because you do collect those damn Social Security checks. I haven't heard you send them back.
Well, I'm not going to trace you down these different paths you tend to take to people.
You called my show for a conversation. Now you're afraid to have one.
Well, we are having one. I'm just not.
Do you collect? Do you benefit from socialism? Yes or no?
That's not socialism. That's just a part of what a society is doing for people. This is not a socialist society.
All right, Robert. I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you, sir. You're still an old fool. 404-892-2703. You're getting real with the realest man on radio, the Rashad Richey Morning Show.
Let's go to Cliff in Atlanta. Cliff, good day. Welcome.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Rashad, how you doing? Good.
I'm good, dear brother. How are you?
I would like to speak about the inflation piece that you talked about earlier.
Yes, sir.
That's still on the table?
Absolutely. Anything you want to talk about?
I think that, in my opinion, that, during COVID, people rose prices because of supply chain shortages and this and that and the other. And prices tend to go up, but they don't come back down. Have you noticed?
Well, that is true. For the most part, they will go up. The only thing that can equalize that is increasing minimum wage, having people create higher earning, et cetera. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that to a large degree, this inflation that we're feeling in Atlanta and in different parts of the country is that people are just overcharging for goods and services now that it just doesn't make sense. You know, I mean, I was looking for a car for my daughter, and it was easy. I'm looking for a used car, a good used car, and I came up on one. It was a decent price. It was a dealership. It was at a certain price. I went in and checked up. I said, "Well, what's my walkout price?" And by the time they had finished adding on fees and everything else, it doubled the price of the initial what the cost of the car was initially.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, cars cost too much right now. Housing costs too much. I mean, why are we paying like $3.50 for gas right now?
Wow.
You know, it's you gotta.
Man, listen.
People are being.
Well, I definitely understand that. I definitely understand I understand your point, and here's my only pushback. So many companies, I'm not saying all, but many companies increase their prices because of what you said initially, the supply chain. There's a restaurant that I'm part owner of, and when COVID hit, a lot of people don't know this, but it basically froze the travel of things like chicken, poultry. That was eliminated. I mean, from truckers to everything else, ships, etc. So because of that, if you had chicken on your menu at your restaurant, you had to charge about 3 times more. And so what many people did is they kept the cost of food the same. So they took a loss on the food, and then they increased the cost of the alcohol. They would have to make decisions like that. So, for some people it worked, for some people it didn't. So I know that sometimes it's just the reality of the market, and other times, I mean, to have a car go up double and you got a walkout price up front and it becomes double of the sticker price, that's trickery is what that is. That's insane.
Oh, I left real quick after that.
Absolutely. I would be offended. I'd be personally offended. That's right. Absolutely.
I mean, we went, my wife and I were going to a movie last week, and she wanted to get I think it was like a 20-ounce bottle of water. They wanted to charge $6.
Yeah, man, listen, you got a deal. That's all. You got a deal, brother. I know one is you got $9 for a bottle of water. If you going to the movies these days, brother, you just got to assume you're going to, if it's you and another person, you have to assume I'm spending about $100. Easy.
And that's ridiculous.
I know.
I mean, that is totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm just saying. People are being gouged. It's not necessarily inflation that is out of our control or something like that, but it's just that people they found that they can charge so much, and that people will pay it, and they'll keep paying. They'll keep charging. Prices aren't coming down. They will continue to go up, and wages will lag behind.
Yeah, and that's the issue, that the wages part never catches up with the inflation part, and that's why we keep running in a hamster wheel because of that part. Yep.
Right. Well,
thank you, brother.
That's the reason why we should become business owners and not employees. You know.
No, I agree.
You know, it's just you got to have a business aspect to you yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to be a business owner and not an employee. So. That's my opinion.
I thank you, dear brother. And something I tell my college students, I teach business as well. I'm qualified to teach business because I have an MBA. So I teach my business students, it's okay to own and earn. it's okay to own and earn, because owning a company really only means you have monetized, or you're able to monetize on the skill set that's separate from your 9 to 5. I own and earn. I still work here. This is earning. I still own. That's earning too. So I own and earn. It's nothing wrong with that. Monetizing on your skill set outside of your traditional employment is a good additional source of income. It could be multiple additional sources of income, but you're simply banking on your skill set outside of your 9 to 5. We got more News and Talk 30. So good to be with you. Let's go to Q in Atlanta. Q, good day. Welcome. Q, are you there? Going once, going twice. No Q. Let's go to Mr. Poe in Atlanta. Good day. Welcome.
How you doing, Mr. Richey?
I'm good.
How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Doing well. How are you?
First of all, I want to thank you because my kids always get through and call. I want to briefly say I hope you never, ever get tired of people giving you your flowers now.
Wow.
When I heard all the plethora of things that you do during the day and the things that you have going, I take my hat off to you. I'm living for my children now. And I just, first of all, wanted to thank you for what you do, sir.
God bless you. Thank you, brother. And thank you for being such an upstanding father and leader, man. Thank you for the compliment.
Okay, now I'm calling about just a couple of different things. First of all, we spoke on, it came up about the crime. And, wait a minute. My daughter's pulling on me again. She said, yeah, this is my kids, okay? She says, you have to thank his producer. I was the gentleman that called, and you told me to hold on and, give my information because, I do a lot of stuff with children in the community.
Yes.
Things like that. She said, you got to thank the producer. This is what she noticed. Like I say, I work with kids with autism and cancer. She said the producer was real busy, but he took his time, and he didn't save the email and everything one time. Now, this is a child.
That's right.
He made twice that. He made sure that you got Dr. Richey's email information and yours. So she wanted, and my kids are here, they wanted to thank your producer. Little things mean a lot.
Man, let's get Chris. Chris, are you able to get on live with me? Chris is remarkable.
I'm telling you.
That's
wonderful.
I got a big smile on my face because when someone that watches you work every day, and I mentor Chris, and Chris actually works for me outside of this radio show as well. He's a remarkable leader. So, Chris, you could say you're welcome directly to the thanks that you're getting, man.
Hey, how you doing, sir? I want to thank you deeply for that. Much appreciation. And this is just me doing what I was called here to do originally. This is just an original thing. So I appreciate that so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but I appreciate so much.
Brother, that's a great heart.
Impact that you all are having with my kid. Can you imagine some kids and noticing something that small that he didn't just rush us off the phone? He repeated twice. So, Chris, I have to talk to you, okay? And I'm not going to take much of your time. And I just want you all to know, half of my kids love you all. The other half is just a little, I'm working on them, okay? I'm just being honest with their kids.
We'll bring them around, brother, at some point. Listen, we all meet in the middle again.
Yeah, but hold on, though. Watch this, though. Even Chris, when they speak about you, the ones that speak about you in a dissenting manner, you just hold on. This is what would touch everybody's hearts about my children. They're like you. They don't kiss behind. They don't know how to do that.
Right.
So they're more so saying it in a uplifting mode, like, Dad, I see so much more in him. Dad, he's superficial. Dad, I see so much more in him. So they don't, talk about in a hating way. I think really that's a compliment. So let me get on the thing about.
I will accept it as a compliment. All right, let's go to crime.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They could easily just it's real, sir. I'm glad you don't know him. When you see the movie about me, and like I said, I really appreciate Chris because the documents are being drove in. When you find out who I am, I'm going to send it to him. When you see the jobs that we're bringing here, when you see the movie about me, I'm in my 60s, sir. I don't want to just babble on, but in my 20s, my car broke down in an area called Bankhead Court when you see the movie about me. I was
very familiar. Okay.
I didn't know anything. This is how I know you got a call on you. Like, I didn't know anything about those bankhead coach, the Miami boys, or none of that stuff. I was just from Miami. Can you imagine your car breakdown in bankhead court with a mailman wasn't even delivering, and they feuding with the Miami boys, and I had a Miami tag.
Wow.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah, so, and then now you look 30 years later, I met Miss Keisha Waits, and when you see what I'm doing with the Silence of Violence, you see what I'm doing with the, I want Georgia to be the pilot state for what I'm doing. But let me get back to something, because my daughter's pulling on me. She said, you long-winded, Dad. Let me get right to the point. When we spoke about crime, you made some excellent points, but I want your listeners to understand one thing. You are not going to stop crime unless you stop the machine behind the crime. So when you see me speak and you hear me talk about things like George Soros and how he pays people to tear up the buildings because he owns the insurance and then pays somebody else, all of this stuff is smoke and mirrors. So that's why I love what you're doing, sir. When I come here and speak, I'm speaking for people like yourself. The average person doesn't even know what quantum physics is. For you to even try to explore that, you got a calling on your life, sir. And so I want to make a bold prediction. I know for a fact you're going to be worth some billions in the next year or so. I know that's a little too strong for people, okay? But when Brother Chris, these are my children, because they have a museum they're doing for me, okay? When you find out the ones that really dissent about you, because they say you're supposed to be a billionaire, and they're going to make you a billionaire. So I love my children. It's like, Dad, you're long and stick to the subject, okay? So I wanted to do that about crime when you see what I'm doing, because if our jobs start at $50 and $100 an hour, and if you build the communities, okay, that's going to bring the crime down, okay? Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about.
And let me say this before you move to your next point.
Yes, sir.
There's a social scientist, and his name escapes me, but it echoes what you just said. He said if everybody made a livable wage, could pay their bills, live, have a little fun recreationally, you eliminate roughly 88% of the socioeconomic patterns of dysfunction automatically. They go away. He said they go away overnight. They go away overnight if you do that one thing. But it's so much money and everything else that they won't do that one thing, because now everyone loses money. Prison industrial complex loses money. The centers that are supposed to get you back to where you could drive again loses money. Like all of these stations and operations and enterprises and industries lose money if you actually do the right thing. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, well, my daughter said, Dad, I'm trying to give him a pass. Wait a minute. I vehemently agree with everything you said, right? The only part, like I taught my children, if we keep saying this stops this stops that. Let me give you a small example about livable wages. This is definitely going to happen. Jeff Bezos, he's done. He's done. When I see you, all
right, and we got about 30 seconds, brother. So you got to make a point.
Right quick. Well, I'm going to wrap it up right quick. That's in simple terms what you just said. A private sector industry has to right to make change, and you'll see that matriculate to the prison industrial complex. All of the things that people think will cause a problem and they won't do it, that's going to happen. It's going to be people like yourself. My brother, keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing, my children, and you make sure, my brother, you just have a blessed day. It's your time.
Thank you, dear brother. It's our time, our season. I appreciate your call and sentiment. We got more on the other side. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Welcome back. Realest Man on Radio. Good to be with you. Final stretch. Last segment. It has been real. 404-726-1380. 404-726-1380. Let's go to Tea Party Lou. Tea Party Lou, good day. Welcome.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I think so many of our problems are because the media is so bad. I think they're evil. But if you look
but
at
when you say things like that, you have to consider what you're saying and the judgment you're engaging in. The media is not a person. The media is comprised of over 8 million different people throughout the context.
I think in general.
Give me a second, madam. Throughout the context of bloggers, mainstream media, alternative media, conservative media, liberal media. These dynamics are permeations of human expression. You're only taking a talking point from Donald Trump. That's all you're doing.
No, I'm not. I can
yes,
speak
you
for
are.
myself, sir.
But you are. Donald Trump was the first one to coin that the media is evil. And then all of a sudden, conservatives, no, you didn't. You all never said Fox News was evil. You all never said that.
I haven't watched Fox News in years. So
yeah, but you all never said, generally speaking,
conservatives,
generally speaking, conservatives never said Fox News was evil.
Well, you look at the stories today. I was watching CBS this morning, and the CBS morning show came on.
Well, why are you watching them? If they're evil?
I try to see what the other side is saying, and I also try to see some of the local stuff, like the local weather or traffic or something.
Oh, okay.
But I also like to know what people are saying. But you look at, they were talking about the fraud trial in New York, Letitia James's trial. And they were talking about how Donald Trump misvalued all his properties. He greatly blew them over, had these wild estimates. And they said, he valued Mar-a-Lago at $729 million or something. And Letitia James and the judge were saying it was worth 18. See, that right there is, the story should be, you can go down to Palm Beach, where he has Mar-a-Lago. You can look at properties next door. Just down the road, there's a 2.27 acre empty lot. Mar-a-Lago sits on almost 20 acres. It's for sale for $155 million. So the one who is way, way, way out of line is Letitia James.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's go back because you're misquoting the actual case. Donald Trump has already received what's called a partial summary judgment because he represented he represented it was appraised at. You see, there's one thing to make it what's called declaratory value, and there's another one to make a statement that says it was appraised at. The statement swearing and affirming under penalty of perjury is called an affidavit, that it was appraised at a particular value was a lie. And he swore under penalty of perjury that it was the truth. That means that he knew when he was signing it. No, ma'am. He said it was appraised at this value, which means based on the documentation, he had an appraisal done. When these things are subject to scrutiny, they have been noted to be false, which means he swore under oath that they were true. Do you understand the difference between declaring a thing and then swearing and affirming a thing is appraised at a particular value? That is illegal. If you do it, it's illegal if you do it. Correct?
I'm saying that these numbers...
But is it not illegal if you do it?
I'm saying that he could not... That property's not worth $18 million.
This is not about the worth of the property, madam. This is about lying about an appraised value, which requires an appraisal. Do you have a home? Do you have a house?
Yes, I have a house.
You're a homeowner?
Yes.
Do you engage in the appraisal before engaging in the purchase? The who?
The county. Well, I mean, for the tax purposes, the county does the appraisal.
You just made my point. I appreciate your call. Thank you, madam. That's right. An appraisal has to be done by a third party for it to be legitimate. Thank you, ma'am. I rest my case. Let's go to Dooley in Florida. Dooley, good day. Welcome.
Good day. Hey, Richie.
Yes.
Down here in Florida, Matt Gaetz is from Pensacola. I know Matt Gaetz. I knew his dad. His dad is the one that set him up. These people tried to
set Matt Gaetz up. What did he set Matt Gaetz up for?
I'm sorry. I kind of slipped on that one.
Okay.
He set him up to be congressman.
Right. I agree. Yes.
His daddy was a local politician.
Right.
And everybody thought he was the smartest thing since razor knives, the sharpest. This man, and so is Pensacola, Florida, by the way, the most racist place on the planet Earth. The tax collector in Pensacola, Florida, back in 1952, used to also be the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. It's documented. Look up the T.T. Wentworth Museum. Anyway, but this is Matt Gaetz. He took the girl over there, but he took the girl over there to have sex with him and another young boy. And the girl was the bait to get the boy over there because Matt really likes boys. But he's a hypocrite, because when it comes to gay rights and stuff like that, he tries to act like he's all that. But down here with people that know him, the stories that we know will never be in the paper. They won't reach the paper because they'll get killed before they get there. But we all down here in Pensacola know about Matt Gaetz. And I know I know that personally. I'm sorry.
I think some of this is going to come out in the ethics investigation. I appreciate your call, dear brother. I got to go. Thank you so much. This has been Real Talk with Rashad Richey, the Rashad Richey Morning Show. Peace. Atlanta. David, good day. Welcome.
How are you, Rashad?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Okay. I wasn't expecting to get on. What was the topic today?
We're all over the place. We're everywhere. From domestic policies to international. What you want to talk about?
Okay. I guess international policy.
Okay.
I'm not sure that the current policy is working in the best interests of the U.S. It seems like this $6 billion released to the Iranians helped to foster this carnage that we saw in Israel.
Yes, it did.
In Israel.
Yeah, they should freeze the money. And let me say this. Your point is well received. And I want to put it in this context. The countries that are the strongest countries today, and look at it, from China, right, to Russia, these countries, as a policy, as an international policy, would not get involved in significant international conflict. What they did was fortify their domestic borders. They fortified their own country. And so you don't see China going to war. China is going to colonization. China is in Africa trying to get African resources and coordinating deals with major African territories in order to do so because of natural minerals, etc. And so they're having these deals outside of the framework of war. We're still fighting each other. We're still talking about blowing things up, killing people, etc. We have meddled in the affairs of so many other nations that we are entangled in a way that no other nation is. Think about it. There's no other nation, dear brother, entangled in so much chaos they call diplomacy than America. You cannot find a nation that has the problems that we have internationally.
Okay, and when you say what do you mean specifically as far as entangled internationally?
We have decided.
It seems to me that when Russia attacked Ukraine, they would not have done that under the past administration, and it's China.
Yeah, but that's not true.
Russia
and
Saudi Arabia.
Now tell me why do you say that? Tell me, hold on, wait. Let me go to that first statement. Because that was debunked early in the attack. That Vladimir Putin, while Trump was president, and it looked as if Trump was going to get reelected, Vladimir Putin had already coordinated his war machine to attack. You don't just wake up one morning and create a war machine. He had all of his oil carrier lines secured so that he can have, because all of his equipment is petroleum based, so he didn't want the West cutting off his petroleum. He secured all of these things under Donald Trump. So under Trump is when everything he needed to go to war was secured, right under the nose of our current, of our former president, but current intelligence agencies. So that's a misnomer that somehow he wasn't planning this during Trump. He was planning it. He planned all of it during Trump.
Well, I'm not 100% agreeing with that. I think he had the.
Well, but you don't have to agree, dear brother. That's a fact. It's a fact that he secured those things before Biden became president. Yeah, right. I mean,
I'm not saying that that's not a fact.
Okay.
What I'm saying is him acting on that.
Why would you think he wouldn't? Donald Trump went out of his way to defend the man at all cost.
Well, not policy-wise, he didn't go out of his way to
Yes, he did.
He may have said
yes, he did. He did defend him policy-wise. He defended him policy-wise. He defended him when Republicans were telling him he's a great threat, he's a great evil. He called him a good man, a great leader.
No, he called him a great leader. He didn't say he was a good man. He said he was a great leader. So
okay. So tell me this. Which one do you think is the strongest compliment?
The strongest compliment?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if saying he's a great leader would necessarily mean that that's a great compliment. I mean, I guess you could.
Okay, well, let me. Okay, yeah, of course it's a compliment. What about when he called him a genius? Was that a compliment when he called Vladimir Putin a genius? Was that a compliment? Was that flattering?
It was probably it was probably in his mind true because of the way he conducted his policies in his country.
There you go. There you go. Right. He agreed with his policies. I appreciate you agreeing with me. But once again, he agreed with his policies. That's why he called him a genius. You see the point I'm making?
No,
you said Trump disagreed with his policies. No, sir. He agreed with his policies, and that's why he said Putin is a genius.
Wait, I understand that. I'm talking about Trump's policies with the international community. It seemed at the time that those policies...
That wasn't a limitation of his statement. That wasn't a limitation of his statement. You got to remember the context of why he said it. He was talking about how the conversation was about how Vladimir Putin basically has all of his people under control.
Right.
And so this was not about international policy. It was about his domestic policy.
Okay. So it's either or. The fact of the matter is, I don't believe that Putin would have invaded Ukraine had Trump been the president.
All right. I mean, you can believe that. All the evidence is contrary to your belief, even those that work for Donald Trump in the Department of Defense. Well, hold on. Wait a minute, brother. No, you don't get to do that now, sir. All due respect. This is my show.
But you let me get out 2 or 3 words and then you jump in. You don't let me finish
Well, brother, I'm going to let you finish your sentence for sure. I 100% will let you finish. You getting upset, brother? You upset because I've proven you wrong multiple times? You upset? You mad?
No, I'm not upset because you.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you respond.
I'm frustrated because you don't let me.
Well, don't call the show if you're frustrated, dear brother. Why you getting upset? It's just talk. You getting upset about white men going to war? You mad? You upset about me disagreeing with you? You upset?
We can agree to disagree, but all I'm saying is
you frustrated.
Let me get my point out.
Okay. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to allow you to make your point. Vladimir Putin had Donald Trump wrapped around his finger in a way that allowed Vladimir Putin to mobilize resources under the leadership of Trump that allowed his war machine to go undetected into time of strike. Go ahead.
Okay, again, if you look at the U.S. policy under Trump, international policy, whether it was Israel, whether it was China, whether it was Putin, they did not act aggressively because they were unsure of what Trump might do. If you look at what Trump did or his administration did with giving the Ukrainians weapons. Now, prior to that, Obama gave them blankets. He didn't give them any offensive weapons or defensive weapons.
Yeah, you're just incorrect. What about Kim Jong-un, who increased his nuclear capabilities under Trump? Did not decrease them, as Trump said.
Yeah, he didn't increase his testing under Trump. Trump called him
his what?
Are you talking about the Rocket Man?
He didn't increase his what?
He didn't increase his testing in terms of firing missiles under Trump.
That's once again, that's completely untrue.
Wasn't that the same rate?
Sir, he increased his nuclear capabilities through testing and other methodologies through the underground camps and above ground camps without any repercussion from the American president. Sir, I don't know what fantasy world you're living in. I'm dropping facts to you, but I appreciate your call. Thank you, sir. It's been interesting. We got more on the other side. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. All right. We got Jason in Buckhead. Jason, good day. Welcome.
The illustrious Dr. Richey.
Jason from Buckhead. I'm good, Jason from Buckhead.
So it's funny to me that the world is on fire right now.
Okay.
And we're sitting up here giving money to the people and the country that's funding this. We over here arguing about whether or not men can lactate, and these dudes are flying in on paragliders, murking people in plain daylight.
Now, who's talking about men lactating? What conversation was that?
Your party, your ideology. We worried about
my party
craziness.
Now, Jason, let's have an adult conversation. No, I understand, dear brother. I'm going to try to have a conversation with you. Yeah. I do not, and let's be respectful. I do not. I do not prescribe to any party. Believe me, there are Democrats that hate me just as much as Republicans, because I'm one of the few who's willing to put my foot up everyone's ass when required. I'm one of the few out here who would do it. Everybody else is afraid because now you're not part of a tribe. I don't give a damn about being part of a tribe. So I'm one of the few that would do it. I'm one of the few who will be criticized by both political sides. So be very respectful, dear brother, when you approach me about being part of a group I'm not affiliated with, sir. Okay?
You're not affiliated with the Democratic Party?
No, sir, I am not a Democrat, and you know good and damn well I'm not a Democrat.
You're not a Democrat.
Sir, I have said this for 9 years on this show.
Okay. Yeah, you say that, but everything
that's the thing.
That you represent and advocate for are Democratic, liberal.
You know, it is interesting.
Ideology.
I will go ahead and just provide. I will provide clarification for those who can't keep up, like yourself.
Okay.
When a conservative,
yeah,
that's right. When a conservative says, "I am a conservative," I'm not really a Republican, but I am conservative. You all accept that without argument. There's no argument about that. Everybody understands it on your political side. But when I say I'm a progressive, I believe in left-leaning ideology, but I'm not a Democrat. I could care less about the corporate ideology of a Democrat. I could care less about their unwillingness to support ideological norms that help communities of color in particular. So because of that, I will oppose most Democrats who are currently in elected position. So when I have the distinction, when I have, I'm way more progressive than a corporate Democrat. You damn right.
And here's the thing:
there are two sides to the same coin. Typically,
even more dangerous. That's the problem, because the Democrats Party.
Well, that's what you believe.
Well,
you don't think that Republicans or Republican ideology is dangerous when it's rooted in bigotry, racism. Some of the absolute most insane comments are coming from people. That's a small segment?
I think that's a small segment that could go either way. I think there's extremes on both sides.
A small segment. Explain what. Well, thank you for providing context to your initial statement. So you believe that these extremes exist within both party structures. So let me explain the difference.
You know the difference, though? The difference is
I'm going to explain it.
No, the difference is that the left extremes are being made mainstream and normalized. The left extreme,
that's interesting.
The LGBT agenda, pushing abortion, of all.
Well, but that's not a progressive. That's not a progressive ideology. That's not exclusively. All right, let me respond to that. That's not exclusively
the bigotry.
Okay. Jason, I'm going to have to just put you on hold, brother. Hold on, because you're not going to get it. That's not progressive ideology, what you just listed. That's simply Democrats. Democrats generally support the LGBTQ community, always have, really. Even when they were saying things like, we don't believe in marriage in the gay community or in the lesbian community, we believe in civil unions. Well, they were to the left of Republicans. But it's not exclusively a progressive ideology. Progressive ideology is your zip code should not determine how much you end up getting paid in life. The amount of money you have as a child should not determine if you can go to college or not. You should have free college. That's progressive ideology. Democrats aren't passing those bills. Only progressives believe in those bills. That's progressive ideology. Now, Jason, I'm going to bring you back because I want you to understand the difference, dear brother, and the reason why I'm talking about progressives. We have issue with corporate Democrats who will debate a cultural issue. And then as soon as they go to Congress, they will vote the same way as Republicans as it relates to banks and economy and higher education. I don't fall for the game, dear brother. I know good and damn well your vote is your proclamation of whose side you're really on. All right, we still got Jason?
I'm here.
All right, we'll bring it back.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead, brother.
So that all.
Go ahead.
Listen, we majored in the minor by saying that, but when the rubber meets the road, you're going to still vote for whoever's on the left. Period. You can try to distance yourself and try to have this.
I'm going to vote. Well, no, I'm not trying to distance myself. Okay. Jason, no more than you're trying to distance yourself. If there's somebody on the right, you're going to typically vote for them over one other choice, which is unfortunate in a two-party system, of somebody who is more progressive or on the left. So, dear brother, stop trying to offer what you're not willing to accept yourself.
The bottom line
is hypocritical.
Listen, ideologically, anything on the left, from the left, no matter how extreme, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a blue dog Republican, whether you're a moderate Democrat, or whether you're a progressive like you are, the reality is that that side of things just does not work. Pick any sector of society.
Well, let's do this.
Right now.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on, brother. Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's okay.
Sir.
Let's just talk about
Jason, let's argue policy. Let's argue policy, sir. Are you willing to have that argument like a man? All right, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to bring you back on the other side. Don't run. I'm going to bring you back on the other side. We'll talk about ideology, policy, all right? We got more on the other side. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. All right, do we still have Jason from Buckhead? All right, Jason.
You do.
So you posed the question. You made a challenge. I think it is fitting. I think it is proper. I think it is appropriate. At least we are talking about policy, not just ideology. Because there's very little you can do about ideological differences, because ideological differences are belief systems. But you can do much about policy because people are elected in order to affect policy itself. So let's have a policy conversation. I'm going to give you a rebuttal to what you said before the break. You said that there's no left-leaning policies that have worked. All of it, even if it's blue dog Democrat, even if it's conservative Democrat. No left-leaning policies have worked. Did I paraphrase you correctly?
I said, in general, they don't work.
You did not say in general. No, you did not. We got recording. You want us to bring it back? Do you want us to bring the recording back? Would you like, listen, Chris, bring the recording back?
Let's talk about what's going on right now.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about it, dear brother. Just wait right there.
Okay.
So,
let's talk.
In general, you never said in general. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a policy conversation with you briefly because you did say specifically that no left policies or left-leaning policies have worked at all. You made it very clear. None. So let me go ahead and give you the rundown. This is a measurement of GDP growth. This is your economy. Everybody talks about the economy is the great indicator of what's really working in the world or what's not. In September 2020, that GDP, it grew by 4.1% on average under Democrats. We're talking about aggregate since 1945. So you have a 4.1% increase of your GDP under Democratic leadership versus only 2.5% under Republicans. The New York Times reported 2021 that since 1933, the economy has grown at an annual average of 4.6% under Democrats and only 2.4% under Republicans. The unemployment rate dropped significantly under Democrats aggregate from 1945 to present, especially within the African-American community. And it actually went up in the African-American community under the aggregate of Republicans. Historical dynamics. And then you have under Democratic presidents, and you can check me out at scholars.org. Democratic presidents, black families' incomes grew under on an average of $895 to $1,500 annually, but grew only $142 under Republican presidents. Black unemployment fell by a net of 7.9 percentage points across the 26 years of Democratic leadership, but it went up 13.7 percentage points during the 28 years of Republican presidencies. Across the years of Democratic leadership, black poverty declined by a net of 23.6%, but it actually grew by 3 points every time a Republican held the White House. That's a fact. There's another fact. Let's go to the proclamation that none of the left policies worked. If it had not been for leftists, as you would say, you would not have the women suffrage bill, the constitutional dynamic that was amended to grant women the right to vote. That was August 1920. That was because of Democrats in office. President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the New Deal in the 1930s. You have another dynamic. You don't get rural homes with electricity or the road highway system as we have it today without Franklin D. Roosevelt. 1935, Social Security, one of the most popular government programs in the United States of America right now. Actually, the most popular program is Social Security. That was brought to you by a Democrat as well, left-leaning individual, as you would say. Or we can go to the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Republicans didn't give us that. Democrats did. Left-leaning ideology. The Christian evangelical church did not march with King. They told King he needed to wait. Need I go on, dear brother? I do this for you. Out of a poll, the vast majority of Americans, and this is reported by Pew Research, also published by CNBC and other outlets, out of a national poll, most Americans agree with progressive ideology. 4% of Americans agree with paid maternity leave. 75% of Americans agree with government-funded child care. 60% of Americans believe in boosting the minimum wage. 57% of Americans believe in free public college. 54% of Americans believe in Medicare for all. All are left-leaning progressive ideologies. 88% of Americans believe Republicans are totally wrong as it relates to abortion rights. Sir, what world do you live in? Go ahead and debate the facts that I just gave you.
Yes. So can I speak now?
It's your time to respond, sir, to the facts I laid out.
You did what typical liberal stuff.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I researched. I know stuff. Oh, it's not regurgitation, dear brother. I have a dissertation on it. You want me to send it to you? Would you like me to send you my dissertation, sir? It's called research. Listen, sir, you're being a silly Billy. You don't want to deal with the facts. These are facts. In the real world. But those are facts.
Not some liberal utopian, everything is fine.
So I just named these are statistical facts. These are economic facts that are coordinated by the same forces that you say you love, brother.
Job report and all these jobs, but they're not telling you that most of those jobs, Biden's double dipping on the numbers. Okay.
No, sir. I'm not. I didn't even bring up the employment jobs.
Okay.
Okay. You're arguing things that are not part of the.
What's going on in the world right now?
What? So are you okay?
What's going on right now?
Are you okay, brother? Why you running? I just gave you facts, brother. Deal with the facts I gave you. The only person that double dipped numbers was Trump when he used the U3 rating system rather than the U6 rating system to tell you about unemployment. What's the difference? Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between U3 and U6 rating systems? Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference?
If you talk to people on the ground, do you think they feel like they're doing better now?
I appreciate your call. Have a good day, sir. He's not ready. I assumed he was ready for this kind of conversation. He wasn't ready for this kind of. The man challenged me. He came to me with it. I didn't come to him with it. He said he wanted to do this. Talk to people on the street. Sir, those are the individuals in the country. So you want us to dismiss what's happening nationally because the people in your circle, your, 2.5 friends, don't like the current president. Well, that's fine. A lot of Democrats don't like him. That has nothing to do with the facts I laid out before you. All right, we got more on the other side. News and Talk, 1380 WAOK. What up? Welcome back. Realest Man on Radio. Good to be with you. 404-726-1380. 404-726-1380. It has been real. Let's go to Jihad West End. Jihad, good day. Welcome.
Hey, good day, Brother Richey. I'll be real quick. Maybe maybe in the future I'd like to have a conversation with you on the thing on time, but I don't want to talk about that this morning.
Now, what is it?
The time.
What is it
you
again?
mentioned time earlier. Time. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
So, yes, sir, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The city council just passed a resolution in support of Israel, and in my opinion, they just did it yesterday. So they had to also see the possibility of mass killing in the retribution.
Not possibility. Israel. That's basically what Netanyahu has said he will do. Right. And we have to remember 84% of Israelis oppose Netanyahu's war. Right. 84% of Israelis. So I don't want to conflate the Israelis with Israeli leadership, just like I don't want people to conflate me and you with the leadership of America. Okay.
Right. So and so we want also the city council not to do the same thing.
Right. Because but see, look what they're doing. They're voting against the Israelis. You got to understand how ironic this is. 84% of Israeli citizens are against the war. They're against Netanyahu consolidating power. They're against closing their borders. They're against leveling an enemy faction which includes innocent individuals. They are against it, according to all polling data. So when we say we support Israel, who are we saying we actually support? Netanyahu or Israel? I support Israel. I support men, women, children working every day, trying to take care of their mortgage, pay their bills, and live and eat.
Right. And then on top of that, this thing called fear of Jewish and Israeli. It's amazing because this thing make you do some strange thing. Like you and Mario talk about Waka Flocka and Wayne. Who the hell would follow Wayne and Waka Flocka? I mean, who would take their advice? So the problem ain't really them.
I hope not.
People,
right.
Yeah, the problem is the people who take their advice. But I want to talk about tomorrow or maybe Friday this thing on anti-Semitism, and we need to go deeper into, does anti-Semitism mean if I speak out against what I see as a wrong that Jewish people or Israel does that make me an anti-Semite because I spoke out on what exactly is anti-Semitism? You know what I mean? Because I think they've conflated it to make it too broad. And therefore, when people do it, their fear of being punished or some type of retribution from the Jewish lobby is makes them just do crazy things. Pull up this thing on Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather sent an airplane full of everything, bulletproof vests, water, all kind of stuff to Israel, and I ain't seen one care package to Haiti from Floyd Mayweather.
You see, and this is the thing, and I want to say this quickly before we go to break. All war is a permeation of the polarization of mankind. It is our good and evil. It is our right, wrong. It is our up, down, the polarization. We don't have to exist in polarization. The framework of war is already a misguided framework. War is not required. It is not necessary, but it is present because of the dysfunction of our internal humanity. So we have this permeation called war. This is an external energy of an internal energy. It is imperfect to start. So when we start talking about what's right in an imperfect framework, we're already falling for the trick. We have to talk above and beyond these dynamics that create hostilities, killing, rape, aggressions of kidnapping, etc. These things are the worst among us. These are the worst actions among us. This is nothing to be celebrated on any part.
Yeah, and I agree. But what society has done also is they've created rules to war, because, like you said, the reality of it, there's been wars, and it's going in the real world. But what society attempts to do is to say that there are rules that you shouldn't break during war. And what we're seeing now is basically the neglect of recognizing rules being broken on both sides during wars, and the common sense people are not holding anybody accountable because of some type of fear.
But I will thank you, dear brother, and I will say this for the record. President Jimmy Carter, he always tried to make make the argument, make the case. You can't say one side is holy and the other side is evil. You just can't say that. There's nothing holy about Netanyahu. This whole thing is a disaster and should be contextualized as so. All right. This has been Real Talk with Rashad Richey. I am the realest man on radio.